My father used to say, you can bitch about it, but who's going to listen? But then again, my dad never had a video report. And since I've decided to start doing these again, what the hell? It's my prerogative. And listen, I don't know about you, where you happen to be, but I'm sick and tired of this weather. Whatever happened to spring? I've been looking for it for the past 3 or 4 weeks, but damned if I can find it. I mean, the last 2 days here in Philadelphia, it was beautiful. Yesterday, it was like 84 degrees. I'm out there doing yard work, being domesticated. Today, it's like 40 degrees. It's overcast. It's damp. I can't decide which part of my body on the left side hurts more. The forearm that I broke about 10 years ago, the leg and the foot that I broke about 6 years ago, the quad that I tore about 5 years ago. I can't decide. Tomorrow, I fully expect to get like a nor'easter roaring through here and 4 foot of snow. Again, what happened to spring? So anyway, before we move on to today's complimentary place, and I'm going to have a free selection here on the Cavs Pacers opener plus the Red Sox and Orioles. Let's quickly review a couple of the games that were played yesterday in the postseason. Now, one of the free picks I gave you yesterday happened to be Philadelphia, and the 76ers, of course, got the job done with an explosive third quarter against Miami. But that game, as I warned you in the analysis, had some interesting subplots because the Sixers, as I pointed out to you, this season have an amazing capacity to rally from double-digit deficits and to blow double-digit leads. And you saw that in yesterday's game, and to win by double-digit margins as well. They did all three yesterday. Also in my analysis, I pointed out that this is a team that in the 9 games since Joel Embiid has gone out, has become a different team offensively, because when they've gone to the backups, often starting Ersan Ilyasova at center, playing at times Dario Saric at giving him some minutes at the 5-hole, Amir Johnson at the 5-hole. They have, because of their length, they have been able to space the floor more. Yes, they give away some of that defensive intimidation that obviously Embiid brings. But by spacing the floor, they open up the perimeter so much more, as I pointed out in yesterday's video report, and they've become much more of a deadly three-point shooting team. And you saw that happen yesterday, what that spacing did, opening up the perimeter when they just went crazy, hitting those 18 three-pointers out of 28 shots on the, past the arc against Miami, because the Heat just were not able to do anything extending their defense, stopping the Sixers from the perimeter. That just wasn't a one-game thing. That's what they've done consistently throughout Embiid's latest absence. That's what makes them such a dynamic, scary offensive team, because with Ben Simmons running the show, and you saw how poorly Simmons got off to a poor start, I should say, yesterday offensively himself, because, listen, he's not a great shooter. You saw that again yesterday. But as a distributor, man, he is just so deadly. And those guys, Saric, Ilyasova, you saw yesterday, Bellinelli, just great shooters. I mean, Bellinelli and Ilyasova. And Ilyasova, of course, last year was acquired from Oklahoma City. Then they traded him late last season to Atlanta Hawks. Both those guys were cast-offs from the Hawks this season, salary dumps. Then they come in and you see their veteran experience, their shooting ability, the versatility they bring to the 76ers. They combined for 53 points yesterday. That's the type of versatility that Brett Brown has with Embiid out. But I just want to point out something. Embiid's going to be coming back, maybe game 2. Who knows when he comes back? But what is it going to do to the 76ers offense? Now, Embiid's not going to come back and immediately play 35 minutes, okay? It's just not going to happen. But eventually he's going to come back, and that ball is going to have to go in down low to Embiid. Embiid likes to pop out. He shoots a lot of three-pointers sometimes for a big man, more than you want to see him, but he's going to need that ball down low. Is that going to affect the Sixers' style of play? Is that going to affect their three-point shooting? Because that's what made them so dangerous here of late. When you throw in J.J. Redick, another outstanding three-point shooter as well, suddenly that's what makes 76ers so scary from the perimeter. It'll be interesting to see how that style of play that has suited them so well, how it folds into Embiid's return. And I'm not saying you're benching Embiid. I'm not even implying something so stupid like that. I'm just saying that they've got to get that happy mix between how they are playing currently and how they fold back Embiid into that offensive flow, which is just outstanding right now. Look at the other series. Toronto yesterday. I pushed with that play. 8-point favorite. They win by 8 points. Has anybody seen Kyle Lowry play a good postseason game in recent years? Again, yesterday, another lousy game by Kyle Lowry. 4 for 9, 1 for 4 on three-pointers, finished with 11 points. DeMar DeRozan, 6 for 17, 2 for 5 on three-pointers, 17 points. And that is why the Raptors did not cover yesterday. The reason the Raptors finally won a first-round a series opening game is because their bench outscored Washington's bench 41-21. John Wall and Bradley Beal, 14 for 37 combined shooting from the game, but at least they were 9 for 11 on three-pointers, 42 points combined versus 28 combined points for Lowry and DeRozan, the most overrated backcourt, I believe, in the NBA, because when money time arrives, they are never around to cash their checks. Then the series that I briefly talked about in yesterday's video report that I thought was the most intriguing, the most difficult to forecast, the New Orleans-Portland game. There you saw the Pelicans go into the Moda Center, which I'm sorry, it should still be the Rose Garden, and they go into Portland's house and they put forth a dominating effort. And it wasn't just Anthony Davis with that 35-point, 14-rebound, 4-block performance. But it was the other guys. I noted, was playoff Rajon Rondo going to show up? He certainly did with 17 assists, and he was a maestro out there. But how about Jrue Holiday, who I also pointed out yesterday, had a great second half of the season, had a great game yesterday with 21 points, hitting 10 for 20 from the field. But perhaps the most unheralded player for the Pelicans, the guy who really was the glue for them down the stretch drive when they got him from Chicago, Niko Mirotic, really filled the void once DeMarcus Cousins went down yesterday. Solid game for him, 16 points, 11 rebounds, 4 blocks. Hell, Pelicans blocked 12 shots in that game. Lillard, McCollum, didn't show up yesterday. Lillard, 6 for 23, 18 points. McCollum, a little better shooting, 7 for 18, but 19 points. Pelicans go into Portland. They shoot 47.7%. The Trailblazers shoot 37.8%. I don't know if you watched the game, but the final 2 meaningful possessions for the Trailblazers, down by 3. What was Lillard thinking? Going and trying to draw a foul, driving the lane when you needed a 3-pointer. And then why on the next to last possession, when again you need a 3-pointer, what are you doing going to a nobody instead of one of your 2 clutch guys not launching a 3? I don't even get that sequence of shots there at the end. And FYI, if the Pelicans can pull off this series, it could change the future of this franchise. I don't think you'll hear the rumors that Anthony Davis will want to leave and go to a contender. I don't think there will be any reason for this team to put itself into salary cap purgatory or hell even by having to go and spend the big money to re-sign an injured DeMarcus Cousins and hope that he will be 90% of the player that he once was. That would be an awful move for the Pelicans. They won't have to, though, if they can pull off a win in this series and give the franchise renewed hope going forward. Okay, let's get to your complimentary plays today. First game, of course, is going to be the Cavaliers game with the Pacers. Listen, Pacers won 3 of the 4 regular season meetings. What does that mean? Absolutely nothing, because these are not the same teams that you're seeing here. Because the last regular season meeting, hell, that happened back in end of January. And since then, Cavaliers are a different team, as we saw. And what happened last year when the Cavaliers swept the Pacers in the first round series and they won those 4 games by a combined 16 points? What does it mean? Absolutely nothing. Again, this is not the same team. Now, LeBron James teams. 12-0 in first-round series. And his teams have won 21 consecutive first-round games. But look at what the Cavs did this year, okay? They started 7 different guys at point guard, right? They moved 6 guys at the trade deadline. Kevin Love missed 21 games. Team won 11-10 during his absence. And yet, they still managed to get the 4 seed. They still managed to win 50 games. LeBron played all 82 games and had perhaps his finest all-around season. Today, they're going to start a lineup where you're going to have LeBron surrounded by George Hill, Jeff Green, probably Rodney Hood. Those guys haven't played together as a starting unit yet, right? Jeff Green has come on like gangbusters. They're probably going to throw Jeff Green because of his size and his athleticism and try to have him defend Victor Oladipo, the Pacers' #1 gun, here in this game. You're going to have Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance be your first 2 main guys off the bench for the Cavaliers. So it's going to be interesting. You've got Kevin Love playing his best offensive basketball in the 10 games since he's come back from the broken hand, averaging about 17 points, almost 9 rebounds, and hitting at a 45% clip on 3-pointers, averaging 3 triples per game since his return. On the downside for the Cavaliers, you have Kyle Korver, who is not healthy because of a foot injury, and that hurts because this is a guy who hit at a 45% clip with 3-pointers, the 6th best 3-point shooter in the league this season. You have a Cavaliers defense which, shall we say, is cavalier defensively this season. I mean, just an awful defense, a defense that got burned by guards repeatedly this season. And not only do you have to worry about Oladipo, but you got to worry about Darren Collison, who in the 4 regular season matchups averaged 18 points and 75%, yes, 75% on 3-pointers against the Cavaliers. But again, put a little asterisk next to this, because when the Cavaliers went out and made those trades, they got younger and more athletic at the guard positions with Rodney Hood, who can swing back into the backcourt with Jordan Clarkson. Got a much better defender with George Hill, although injured most of the last part of the regular season, but did return in the season finale to play 18 minutes. So I think that, one thing about the Pacers, Miles Turner, their big man, has been in a slump here in the last few weeks of the regular season. Matter of fact, in the final month of the regular season, double-figure rebounding just once. Final 4 games, shooting-wise, just 5 for 26. But again, Cavaliers' worst defensive rating, points per 100 possessions of a playoff team in the last 20 years, according to basketballreference.com. 111.9 points per 100 possessions. Then again, last year, 110.3. Made the finals. Oh yeah, Pacers, not much better. 108.1. So you have 2 teams that don't play a lot of defense. I'm willing to lay the points with the Cavaliers here today, minus the 6.5, because I think that you're going to see LeBron and this team come out and erase everything that happened during the regular season with a focused effort, and I think they're going to be unstoppable offensively, and that's what counts the most in this game, their offense. Forget about the defense. Now, and I also think this game has a great chance to go over, to be honest with you, but I'm going to just stick with the Cavaliers as the side. The other play, I'm going to go with the Red Sox on the run line plus the $1.05 at home, laying the 1.5 runs over the Orioles. Why not? This team has scored 17 runs on 26 hits in the first 2 games in the series. The Red Sox have scored 76 runs in their last 10 games, in which they've won 9 out of 10. J.D. Martinez started the season 0 for 8, but he's 15 for 45 with 13 RBI. Since then, Hanley Ramirez has 15 RBI on the season. Red Sox have won 12 out of 14. They're starting pitching 9-1 with a 2.08 earned run average. Chris Sale has been Chris Sale. Made his first home start against the Yankees on Tuesday. I had a 15-dime best bet on him on that night. 6 innings pitched, 8 hits, 1 run, 8 strikeouts. He was pitching on a week's rest, so he didn't have to extend himself in that game because the Red Sox won it 14-1. 13 home starts last year. 88.1 innings pitched, 70 hits allowed only, and 117 strikeouts. Last year against the Orioles, 3 starts, won all 3 of them, 2.05 earned run average. Past 3 years combined, 5 starts, 5 wins, 0 losses, and a 1.54 earned run average. just dominant against the Orioles. In terms of Baltimore, they're going with Dylan Bundy. They've scored a total of 6 runs in his 3 starts this year. I got to go ahead and lay the 1.5 runs and take the Red Sox at pretty much even money in this contest. Listen, of the 2 plays, I got to be honest, I like the Red Sox more than the Cavaliers, but they're both strong selections. That'll do it for today. Wish you well, guys, and talk to you tomorrow when we do it one more.